Homeplate is brought to you by the Homer Laughlin China Company, Newell, West Virginia, proud makers of Fiesta Dinnerware. And by OptiView Vision Centers with locations in Austintown and Niles.
Welcome to Homeplate. We have with us today Christina and also Amy. Thank you guys so much. You've been so gracious in joining me in the kitchen this season. I really enjoy having you around.
Our pleasure. It's so fun.
Thank you. What we're going to do today is make a recipe that my aunt made for us every Friday. I had the privilege of actually reading some family thoughts at her funeral, my aunt Nella. And this recipe actually made it in the thoughts at the funeral because you knew if you went to her house on a Friday, you'd have fried catfish, fried corn, and potatoes and onion. And that's exactly what we're going to make for you today. But we're going to change the recipe up a little bit just so it'll be a little more healthy for us. We're going to start with our catfish. And is catfish a fish that either one of you ever make?
Honestly, I don't.
You don't make catfish? No. So in order to start preparing our catfish, ladies, we need a wet and we need a dry. So for our wet, we are going to whisk 1 egg. You can do 1 or 2. And then we either use almond milk or silk in our house. So you can always use this as a substitute for milk. Just put a little bit in there, probably about a ½ cup. Then I season every step. So I'm going to do some black pepper, a little bit of salt, and then paprika. In the past couple of episodes, you've seen us use smoked paprika, but this is just regular paprika. You don't really need a smoky taste for the catfish. It has a great taste on its own. And really, I do the paprika just for color because when you get ready to make this fish, it doesn't look beautiful, and you want it to look beautiful because everyone eats with their eyes first. So we have that, and then often people will use another bowl, but I don't like to go that route. I just use a nice plastic bag, and I put my dry ingredients in there. That was a ½ cup of wheat flour, and you can use wheat or regular flour. You can use a little bit more or a little less. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt because remember, layering is the way that you get the flavor that you really like in your ingredients. Can you hold that for me, Amy? Thank you. Put a little bit of ground pepper. And Christina, can you add a little bit of paprika in there for me? Just a little bit. Yep, that's good. Give this a little shake first. And I am just going to basically dip my catfish.
Let me hold that for you,
Oh,
Stephanie.
thank you. I'm using catfish, and that's because that's what Nella cooked every Friday night. My Aunt Minnie worked at the fish market. Nella would go to the fish market, get fresh catfish. I'm sure we got the best ones because my aunt worked there. So that's what I'm using, catfish. But if you don't like catfish, or is there another type of fish you like, you can do the same exact thing. Tilapia works well too. That's actually a family favorite of ours. Shake that really good, make sure it gets coated well. And then I'm just going, I use a very, very seasoned piece of stoneware. So they don't always look beautiful, but they are a great way of getting your meat brown. And what I did not do is put any Pam on there. So I'm gonna use a little bit of spray on the bottom of it. Then I will just put this back on here, lay my pieces gently here. And one thing I've found that with my family members, a lot of time when I first started doing an oven fried catfish, they just really weren't into it. You know, if you're frying catfish, you're supposed to fry catfish. What's all this oven stuff about? But so that's why I've learned a couple of tricks. So when they see the catfish, they don't know if I fried it or not. But don't tell them that. Okay, put a little more breading on there. And then what I do at that point is I put more paprika on top. And paprika gives it more of a coating or more of a coloring to it. So you add that on top. And then here's the big secret. This is, you put Pam, or you put your spray on top. Now it kind of blows the flour everywhere, but you make sure you know, just like your, Amy, I don't want to get you all dirty. I'm gonna have you scoot back a little bit. You make sure that you get this all over your meat, and it actually glistens. And then before you take it out of the oven, sometimes you'll see a little dry spot. Spray a little Pam on there. It will be crispy and golden. Can't wait for you ladies to taste it.
It looks great now.
Such a great way to keep, you know, just family recipes, but make them healthy. I like that. I really do. So Stephanie, what do you normally prepare with this?
What I like to do, the same exact thing that my aunt did. She did a potato and onion. I'll just put on the stove top. Instead of using butter, I do use a little olive oil. And then I also do a fried corn. So let's start with the potato and onion first. They do not have to be perfect slices, and they can be actually larger slices of potatoes. So we just slice those up real easy. Amy, thanks so much for helping me out with these potatoes. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the pan. Probably about a 1/4 tablespoon. And then I will add my onions. Since we're putting everything here, it's fine. We've already washed these. And I use red potatoes. She would use yellow potatoes. I use red because you don't have to take the skin off. And whenever I can find something easy to do after work, that's what I always try to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, isn't that the best thing?
Helps.
Yeah. We are going to just add a little bit of salt to that. Cracked black pepper. Pop this on the stove until it cooks down well, and it's all ready to go. So the last part of our meal, ladies, that Nella always did was she fried corn. And I hear that you guys have not had fried corn. That's like
I know, this is the
sacrilege.
first.
What's going on here? Fried corn is like the bomb. So what you do is you take your corn and then you score the corn. So right in the middle of the corn, because it has milk inside the corn, a little juice. We call it milk. I don't know if it's really milk or not. Score each piece, and then that increases your kernel amount. It's kind of a little tad bit messy here. And then what you do is just go ahead and start slicing it off the corn, the cob.
Now I do know how to do this because I don't like
shouldn't have you doing
to
that.
eat the corn right off the cob.
We'll just do that. Then what I also do is after you get the cob completely clean, I actually scrape the cob down into a bowl, and that gives more of that milk juice out of there. So we have our finished product here, and what I've added is a little bit of olive oil, salt, and black pepper. But what Nella would add to it is butter, salt, black pepper. She would actually add a little bit more milk and then some flour, because flour thickens it. And I do flour every once in a while. It depends on where you get your corn, how long you want it to cook. And you want to cook your corn until it starts kind of smelling like popcorn in your home. You want it to be a little brown. It's such a great addition to any meal. We eat this quite a bit, and I'm going to plate some up for you ladies.
Yeah, wonderful.
In honor of Nella, we have taken her famous Friday recipe, switched it up just a little bit to make it a little more healthy, and I'd like for you ladies to join me.
It'd be our honor. Amazing.
Does it taste good?
It tastes like it is fried.
I know.
No, it's baked.
Try the corn. Make sure you guys try the corn since you've never eaten fried corn before.
Oh my gosh.
Is it good?
So flavorful.
Good. Well, again, thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you'd like any of these recipes, you can feel free to visit us at metromonthly.net. Thank you and have a great week.
For an authentic diner experience, look no further than the Steel Trolley Diner in downtown Lisbon, Ohio. Award-winning hamburgers with all of your favorite toppings, fresh cut fries and onion rings, delicious milkshakes, and some of the best homemade pies you'll find anywhere. Stop by the marketplace and pick up Steel Trolley's original topping sauces, t-shirts, and classic candies. For hometown service and great food, visit the Steel Trolley Diner in Lisbon, Ohio today. Follow us on Facebook or at steeltrolleydiner.com.
Feed your family with fresh and healthy foods from Rulli Brothers. Our deli features the best selection of top quality meats, cheeses, and salads that go perfectly with fresh breads from the Rulli's in-store bakery. And prepared foods like hot wings, pizza, sausage and peppers, pasta and meatballs are available every day from the Rulli Brothers kitchen. Great foods prepared fresh daily at great prices. Rulli Brothers, Boardman, Austintown.
Homeplate Homestyle is brought to you in part by Rulli Brothers Markets.
Hi, this is Helga.
And I'm Mitch. Welcome to Homeplate Homestyle.
And we're cooking again.
Yeah, I want to see what you're making
I
today.
know, look at this. Okay, this is actually a bratwurst. Bratwurst.
Bratwurst.
Yeah, obviously I can't say it right. Anyway, look at this. Look at those babies. Aren't they nice?
They're beautiful, yeah.
Yes, and what we're going to do is we're
Where
going
do
to
you
go...
get these?
I had to
Is
drive
somewhere
all the way
special?
to Mokador.
Mokador.
Yep, there's a butcher shop. They make the best German bratwurst.
Good tip.
Aren't they good? Would you open up a beer?
Oh, sure. Uh-oh.
And don't show the label. That's Wolfgang's favorite. He's gonna go, she stole a
You're using
beer.
the good stuff.
I know. And we're gonna go and
Okay, some beer in there.
we just
About half a bottle or
yeah.
the whole thing?
should I leave this for me?
Yeah, a little
No,
bit
let
for
the
you.
heck-
Whoa, okay, yeah. We'll
Put
absorb
it all
it later.
in, yes. And I guess we're gonna have to turn this on. There you go. And we're just gonna go and that hop and malt and that all goes into that bratwurst, okay?
Yeah, it'll
and
soak
it's
it in.
that, yeah, and that's gonna make it such a nice flavor.
What kind of heat are you putting
Well,
on?
I have it on. We bring it to a boil, and then
So you wanna bring it
that's
right
it.
up.
Okay, and then we shut it off.
Okay.
Yeah, we just gonna. Okay, now smell this. You can smell the beer.
Yeah, nice and
Isn't that
firm.
nice? Yes,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. And they just have to come to a boil, and then that's fine. And then what we do is we put some milk. I'm doing it a different way. This is actually in the winter time when you can't grill anymore. You're gonna do them that way. It's a different way of doing it. Okay, so we're gonna put our bratwurst right in the milk, and then we're gonna dump that beer. Unless you wanna rebottle it for Wolfgang.
Should I filter it first? I don't know. He might taste the bratwurst.
I know. And what we do is now, we're gonna go roll them in there. Now we're gonna put a little bit of flour in because guess what I'm doing? I'm actually breading a bratwurst. Can you believe
I
this?
know. I haven't seen this yet, but I'm very intrigued.
I know, and this is how we did it at home. And you go to a restaurant in Germany, they actually have this as a dinner like that, okay? So, and you serve red cabbage with it, and
Now,
mashed
this
potatoes.
is red cabbage that you can this yourself.
Yeah, I always make a big bunch, and then they're from last fall, and it's beautiful.
It is
And I had some already to taste it if it's good. And you can warm that up if you like after a while. Okay, now we're gonna just got them all wet.
Okay.
And now we're gonna roll them in here. Get them nice, see?
And your oil's already nice and hot.
I hope so.
Did you
I have
test it
to-
with your spoon?
No, I don't have it. Okay, now I got them in the flour. Let's see if that's hard enough. There's my trick again.
There's
See,
your
when
trick,
the
yeah.
bubbles go, it's hard enough. Oops. And you know what? I like to flavor it with a little bit of butter.
Okay.
Okay, because you know what? That browns it a little bit faster, okay?
Right, but the oil allows it not to burn.
Yeah.
Right? You're mostly
Yeah,
oil.
yeah. So, here we go. Of course, we don't always, we use this later on for something I'll show you. I mean, see, I'm gonna you learn something from me how to cook in German, huh?
Yeah. And I think I've seen this before, but I've never
Did
had
you?
them.
Yeah.
Because it's a unique texture, these.
Okay. They have to be nice and you can put them in buttermilk if you like, okay? But I didn't have any, so I bought milk. There you go. Okay, we have to lay them all the same way.
Just so we make our
Just-
producer happy.
Yes, we have to make our producer happy. He wants them all uniform.
It's
the ones.
continuity,
Yeah.
It's pretty important stuff.
Okay. And here we go.
All right.
Now, see this.
Fantastic.
Aren't they nice and big though? See, they never shrink. Did you notice that? They come out of the beer, they stay nice and firm like that.
Yeah.
They don't shrink at all. Okay, look, Mitch.
Nice.
Don't they look beautiful?
Golden brown.
Yes.
Looks pretty.
And see how that flour comes a little bit loose into,
Yep.
cooks off, you know? And that we're gonna drizzle over our mashed potatoes.
Sounds good. Nice.
Yes, they're excellent.
Really, yeah.
And
This
it
is
takes
a
about
nice
4 or
dish.
5 more minutes because we have them in the beer, but you can use water also if you like, okay?
Yeah, if you
That's
like
why
that.
they're kind of already partially cooked, okay? So they don't need to be too long in the frying pan, you know?
Yeah,
Look at this,
look at
isn't
that.
that, look
That's
at how
nice.
nice and plump they are. I tell you, when you eat one of those, actually, you can eat two. I mean, I can't.
No, well,
But-
my guess is I would be very fat at your house.
Let's go have a taste. Hot. Isn't that good?
Wow, that's really nice. I'm gonna have to get the
Try
address of that.
try the potato. How you like that with that stuff on top?
I got a little bit of the crunch on the bratwurst.
Isn't that good?
Really good. Oh man. See, I love all your recipes.
Very good. And no
Yeah.
napkins. How's that? We have
Nice.
no napkins, so we had to.
Good one.
Okay, I'm glad you like it. This is Helga. Now feed us in.
Mitch, bye-bye now.
Good morning and welcome to Explore the Mahoning Valley. I'm Paula Jasper. Today we're downtown at what was the old Strouss building. Do you remember it? I think almost everyone does. Well, about a year ago, local artist and my husband, Jack Carlton, took on the festooning of the inside of this wonderful old building with large black and white murals of photos of what it was like in days gone by. With the help of the Mahoning Valley Historical Society and the Wien Foundation, there is a real treat for anyone who wants to come downtown and visit.
I'm Jack Carlton, the curator and coordinator of the Museum Without Walls, the Downtown Murals Project. And I had a chance to find photographs of the old Strouss-Hirschberg business, and remembering it because I worked in Strouss's, I was able to put up the photographs pretty much where they were when it was Strouss's. And so I'm standing in front of the entrance, which would have gone out to the arcade, and then out to the outer street and those window displays. After you came in through the Roman archways of the front entrance off West Federal Street, you came into the arcade. And the arcade had window decoration of what was being sold inside. This was a window display for their Golden Jubilee 50th anniversary. It was a window display that was in the arcade, and it shows a woman's dress from 1875, the year that Strouss-Hirschberg's opened. This was a Strouss department store, or Strouss's as we called it, and it was a Remnant Day sale, which was very exciting at the time. I worked here in Strouss's, and I can remember Remnant Days because everyone would get sort of warned. There were lots of people outside of the building waiting for it to be opened. And when it opened, everybody who was in an apartment said, "Oh, they've opened the doors," and here they all come. So as you can see, Remnant Day was a wild kind of an affair in which people came in. There was merchandise on the tables, and people would go through them like mad. Strouss's had every season, I think, a pep rally, a sales rally, in which they'd get people from different departments to perform. And I think what you're seeing here is everybody who performed that day taking a bow. This is the main floor. You can see how open it was, that really there's the pillars that sort of open it all the way up to a great large room, great large space. Now the building is more like a mall. It has small stores off of it, and so it's more closed and it has more like an arcade feeling about it. On one side of the Phelps Street entrance was the women's department, and you can see bargain dresses, really not, expensive dresses for $10 a piece. And on the other side was the men's department. This was the Phelps Street entrance to the men's store, actually, and I worked in the men's store in the late 50s, early 60s. And I can tell it must have been the time that I was there because of the great old cars. I've had a really good time, a really pleasurable time at the Historical Society, the Mahoning Valley Historical Society, looking at photographs for all of my project. And this has been a really joyful one because it's a place that I knew so well.
I'm Sophia Brooks, and welcome to Expressions. Today, my guest is Sandra Miles, who I've been wanting to interview for the longest. She's a Christian saxophonist, and she's female, and she is good. Good morning, and welcome to Expressions.
Good morning, and glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
You know,
Yes.
as I said, Shamar and all the rest of my family said, we got to hear you, you know.
Yes.
When we first heard you, I couldn't believe it.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't believe it. You know.
Yeah.
That you sound so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, tell the story about how you got started. And first of all, where are you from?
Actually, I was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh.
We moved north when I was about 3 years old. My dad came here looking for work, and he got hired in the mills. And so he moved the family up maybe a year later, and we've been here in Youngstown pretty much all our lives.
So you went to school here?
Yeah, I went to school. I went to East High School.
No. Don't say East High School.
Wait, well, let me finish now.
Every
Miss
time people talk about that has done something, I said, what school did you go? East.
Well, I went to all of them. I went to East, I went to South, and I graduated from North. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Did I get you?
Yeah.
Great. My husband had retired on disability, and it just seemed like he needed to do some things with his life, you know, because a lot of times when you don't, you're not working, and especially if you're dealing with an injury or illness, sometimes you get depressed, and, you know, there's just things, you know, you sort of sit around. So I thought, well, maybe I'll talk to him and tell him to maybe get a hobby. And so since I like the saxophone and I love to see guys playing saxophone, I told my husband, I said, well, you ought to pick up the saxophone, take
You
out
told
musical
your husband to pick up a saxophone.
Yes, I did. I sure
He
did.
let you tell him that.
Yeah, he let me tell me, but he had an answer. He said, no, he tried I think it was trombone, and he said that he was no good at it. One of the teachers told him he was no good at it, and he just lost interest in any instrument at all. And so the moment that he said, the very moment that he said he didn't want to do any instrument, I got what I thought was a notion. And the notion was just very clear, and it said, why don't you play the saxophone? Well, my answer was audible because at the time I thought, hey, well, maybe I will. And it was such a strong notion, so I thought that it moved me to go to act. So I went to the pawn shop, and when I went in, I knew I wanted an alto saxophone. That's all I knew about the saxophone. Yeah. And so, excuse me. So anyway, when I got to the pawn shop, they had two. They had a shiny new one and someone that looked like it was used. And of course, naturally, I wanted the shiny new one. And I asked, and the price was right. And I thought it was a price that if I didn't stay with it, it wasn't like I'd be throwing away any money. So the gentleman, he set the saxophone in his case in front of me, and I had no idea what I was buying or what I was looking at. So I looked at the case and I thought to myself, what am I doing here, you know? So as I reached in to pick the body of the horn up, because it comes disassembled, and I picked the body of the horn up, and at the moment that I picked the body of the horn up, I felt like a movement deep in my spirit. And then I heard this same voice. At this time I knew it was not a notion. I heard the same voice say, you're supposed to do this. And I went, okay, and I bought the saxophone. So when I retired, is when I started giving it more attention. And I giving it more attention, I started to play. And then I was asked to play out, and different people, I was always blessed that they wanted to hear me. I'm always honored that anybody want to hear me play.
We want to thank you for being here with us on Expressions. Tune in again next week.